The sun had barely risen when the stillness of the farming village was broken by a sound that carried both urgency and terror. The desperate squeals of a mother pig. Villagers rushed toward the small enclosure near the edge of the jungle, where the sight that met them was enough to freeze their blood. A massive python, easily over 20 feet long, had slithered from the undergrowth and struck with lightning speed. Its muscular coils were already wrapped around a mother pig's midsection, crushing her body with relentless force. The pig thrashed wildly, hooves digging into the dirt, while her piglets scattered in panic. The villagers, though brave, knew they were no match for such a predator. Many stood shouting, clapping, and throwing stones in vain attempts to distract the serpent. But the python's focus was unshakable. It was determined to suffocate its prey. In those frantic moments, someone made the only decision that could change the outcome. They sent word to the village's volunteer rescue team, a small group of men who had faced dangerous wildlife before. Time was not on their side. With every passing second, the python's coils tightened, ribs cracked, and the pig's breath grew weaker. The villagers' fear turned to prayer as they waited for the rescue team, knowing that courage, not stones or shouts, would decide the mother pig's fate. The rescue team arrived within minutes, their jeep kicking up dust as it screeched to a halt beside the farm. Commander Rafi, a tall man with weathered skin and eyes sharp from years of confronting danger, leapt out first. Behind him came three others: Kareem, the rope specialist whose wiry frame belied his strength; Bilal, the medic whose steady hands had stitched many wounds; and Yassine, the youngest but fearless, known for his agility. They assessed the scene quickly. The python's massive body was coiled 3 times around the pig's torso, its head raised high as if daring anyone to come closer. The pig's desperate eyes rolled in terror, her flanks heaving as she fought for air. Commander Rafi barked quick instructions. Kareem, ropes! Get ready to immobilize the tail. Yassine, distract its head, but don't get too close. Bilal, stay with me. We'll work the coils. The men grabbed their tools: thick ropes, sturdy bamboo poles, and a sackman to trap the serpent's head if the chance arose. The villagers formed a wide circle, giving space but watching breathlessly, torn between hope and fear. Yassine stepped forward first, banging a metal pot against the ground, the clanging echoing across the sty. The python's head swiveled toward the noise, tongue flickering. At that moment, Kareem looped a rope around the creature's thrashing tail, pulling with all his strength to keep it from lashing out. The python hissed, uncoiling part of its body in fury. Commander Rafi and Bilal seized a chance, wedging bamboo poles between the coils to loosen them. Straining with every ounce of muscle, the pig squealed weakly, chest expanding just enough to draw another painful breath. The battle had begun, man against nature's deadliest strangler, and no one knew how it would end. The python struck with terrifying speed. Its head darted toward Yassine, jaws opening to reveal curved fangs and a gaping throat. But the young rescuer leapt aside, narrowly avoiding a fatal bite. Villagers gasped as the serpent's head slammed into the mud where Yassine had stood. Using the moment, Kareem tightened the rope around the tail and looped it around a wooden post, anchoring the serpent's immense strength. Commander Rafi shouted for more poles, and villagers scrambled to fetch them. Together, Rafi and Bilal pried at the coils, sweat pouring down their faces as they strained to create even the smallest gap. The mother pig let out another cry, weaker but determined, as if sensing that salvation was close. The python writhed violently, its scales scraping against bamboo and rope, its immense muscles flexing like iron cables. Twice, the rescuers were thrown back, their arms bruised in the struggle, but they did not give up. Yassine, agile as ever, reappeared at the serpent's head, waving a cloth and shouting to distract it. The python struck him again, buying precious seconds for the others. Slowly, painfully, one coil loosened. Commander Rafi jammed a bamboo pole deep into the opening, holding it apart with every bit of strength his body could muster. Bilal grabbed the pig's hind leg and pulled, grunting with exertion, as Kareem hauled harder on the tail rope. The villagers shouted encouragement, their voices uniting in desperate rhythm, as a sheer willpower could lend strength to the rescuer's arms. The python roared, or what passed for a roar in that eerie, guttural hiss. its body thrashing in fury. Dust rose, the pig screamed, and the battle raged on. Within minutes, the rescue team arrived at the scene, their faces set with determination, eyes scanning the chaotic tableau of frightened villagers and the relentless predator. Villagers rushed toward the small enclosure near the edge of the jungle, where the sight that met them was enough to freeze their blood. A massive python, easily over 20 feet long, had slithered from the undergrowth and struck with lightning speed. Its muscular coils were already wrapped around the mother pig's midsection, crushing her body with relentless force. The pig thrashed wildly, hooves digging into the dirt, while her piglets scattered in panic. The villagers, though brave, knew they were no match for such a predator. Many stood shouting, clapping, and throwing stones in vain attempts to distract the serpent. But the python's focus was unshakable. It was determined to suffocate its prey. In those frantic moments, someone made the only decision that could change the outcome. They sent word to the village's volunteer rescue team, a small group of men who had faced dangerous wildlife before. Time was now on their side. With every passing second, the python's coils tightened, ribs cracked, and the pig's breath grew weaker. The villagers' fear turned to prayer as they waited for the rescue team, knowing that courage, not stones or shouts, would decide the mother pig's fate. Within minutes, the rescue team arrived at the scene, their faces set with determination, eyes scanning the chaotic tableau of frightened villagers and the relentless predator. Led by Commander Rafi, a seasoned wildlife rescuer with years of experience handling dangerous snakes, the team wasted no time in assessing the situation. They carried thick leather gloves, long hooks, and heavy blankets designed to subdue large constrictors, tools that had saved countless animals and occasionally human lives. As Rafi approached, the python's head rose slightly, eyes glinting with predatory intelligence, tongue flicking in and out, chasing the air. Every coil rippled with lethal strength, and even from a distance, the tension in the serpent's body could have felt like a living earthquake. Rafi signaled to his team with precise hand gestures, instructing one rescuer to distract the python, while two others prepared to loop the hooks around its neck and midsection. The villagers, now silent, watched in awe as the rescue team moved in synchrony, trained through countless drills to act under pressure without panicking. Rafi's voice, calm but commanding, cut through the chaos. "Steady, wait for my mark, not too fast." He had seen many attempts fail, because rescuers try to overpower such a creature with brute force rather than strategy. The mother pig, her body trembling, seemed to sense hope. Her squeals softened into gasps as she locked eyes with Rafi, as if pleading for rescue, for life. The python, sensing the intrusion, hissed and coiled tighter, its head darting toward the rescuers with terrifying speed. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the snake might overpower even the trained team. But Rafi remained poised, his mind calculating angles, leverage, and the serpent's likely reactions. Then, with a precise signal, two rescuers advanced, positioning the hooks just below the python's jawline, while another threw a thick blanket over its head to obscure its vision. The moment of truth had arrived. Every heartbeat stretched into an eternity, and the villagers, holding their collective breath, witnessed a delicate balance between courage, skill, and survival. The morning mist clung to the edges of the village as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy of a nearby jungle. A sudden, piercing squeal shattered the calm. A mother pig trapped in the merciless coils of a giant python. Villagers sprinted toward the sound, hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and desperation. The enormous serpent, its scales glistening with morning dew, had wrapped itself tightly around the struggling pig, crushing her body with relentless strength. The pig thrashed violently, her hooves scraping the earth, sending up clouds of dust as her piglets squealed and scattered in panic. No ordinary human could confront such a creature without risking life and limb. Stones and sticks were hurled, shouts filled the air, yet the python's grip remained unbroken, its eyes cold and unyielding. Every second stretched endlessly. The pig's breath became shallow, her struggle growing weaker under the crushing coils. Villagers, frozen by both awe and terror, realized that only those trained in wildlife rescue could save her. A few brave souls ran to alert the rescue team, men and women who had faced the unpredictable fury of the jungle before. As they raced through narrow paths lined with tangled roots and thick undergrowth, The thought of the trapped mother pig pressed heavily on their minds. The jungle, usually a backdrop of life and serenity, now seemed an adversary itself, with every shadow potentially concealing another threat. In the distance, the rescue team appeared, moving with practiced precision and calm determination, fully aware that hesitation could mean death for the pig and possibly themselves. The rescue team wasted no time. Coordinating silently, they approached the python with hooks, thick blankets, and ropes, each member aware of their role in the delicate ballet between predator and prey. The serpent hissed, sensing the human presence, tightening its coils even more around the pig, its scales scraping against the wooden fence that confined the panicked animal. One rescuer threw a blanket over the python's head, obscuring its vision, while another positioned a hook beneath its massive jaw, ready to pry it open if necessary. The pig's squeals mingled with the python's warning hisses, creating a tense symphony that echoed through the clearing. Sweat dripped from the rescuers' brows, but their hands remained steady. Training and instinct guided every movement. Slowly, deliberately, they began to loosen the coils inch by inch, countering the python's natural reflexes with calm precision. Villagers watched in awe, holding their breath, as the rescue team worked as a single unit, every action synchronized like clockwork. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the last coil unwound, and the mother pig collapsed onto the earth, exhausted but alive. The python, confused and partially restrained, retreated into the jungle, leaving behind a scene of relief, triumph, and raw, hard-earned survival. Tears, cheers, and whispered prayers filled the air as villagers gathered around the exhausted animal, patting her gently and thanking the team. In that moment, the jungle returned to its quiet state, as if acknowledging the courage and unity that had overcome the raw power of nature. The rescue was not just a victory for Mother Pig. It was a testament to bravery, skill, and the unwavering determination of humans when life itself is at stake.